commitment that I have is to, film is a beautiful art form in the sense that it is an experience that we have collectively. It's almost an experience of life in a sense that, you know, I'm trying to discuss something with you, you don't understand it, or I don't understand what you're saying, and somehow we unpick our differences, but we understand our differences, and we also understand that our difference is different, you know, but we do that through a work of art. I trained in fine art film and at St Martin's School of Art and at the Slade making films, and I was taught by, you know, many women who are kind of feminist film legends in the UK now. Those women were probably the first generation of women teaching in art schools, and there was a kind of cultural shift taking place. It was a moment of revisionism, that women had always been excluded, so this was a moment that was bringing women into focus. So those women did have an incredible cultural presence. And also because of my own, well, feminism really, I was compelled by the place that they were speaking from and the place that they were speaking to.
Anxious that her piss had been discovered, she offered to do the washing up before she was told to. Sharon, her sister, dried, and Jimmy, her brother, put away.
I think where work is maybe making some kind of intervention into language, that it might initially appear alienating, but I don't make work in order for it to be alienating or think that alienation is a useful thing. Actually, I'm trying to communicate on another level altogether. But what we initially experience as alienating, sometimes we do need some tools to read it, but that's okay. I think that work is part of the pleasure.
A travesty.
Flats.
You've got to be flat.
You've got to be flat.
All sorts of other shit goes on and this building endures. And you know, this thing survived the Blitz. People 20 metres away lost their houses and their lives.
I wasn't a filmmaker going into a community to make a documentary film, which is very much what the project is about, this idea of what it means to be an insider and an outsider, you know, ideas of home and belonging, who is inside a community and who is outside a community. And crucial to Public House was the fact that I was absolutely part of that community. I lived opposite the pub. I was making a film with many people that I already knew who were actually my neighbours and friends. And then, of course, the process of making the film in itself created community, where a community had already been created around the activism that saved the Ivy House pub from, you know, its sale to a corporate development as a property development. So there's no author in that film and there is no singular I. The film does move from the I to the we, and it is the polyphonic voice. Everyone has a story of that space, so the form of the film had to do that as well. Just the chatter of pubs is musical in itself, but also the way sound echoes and resonates in the space. And of course that pub was a punk space, but then it was a club space, now it's a folk space. Hence it's a musical. Public House is a musical.
Vodka and lime, pulp and lemon. Vodka and lime, pulp and lemon. Vodka and lime, pulp and lemon. Vodka and lime, pulp and lemon.
Pubs most famously are used for meeting someone, copping off, and funerals. All of human life is in a pub. It's a palimpsest. It's a palimpsest and it's a projective canvas. It's a projective canvas for everyone's history, which of course anyone's history is also their fantasy of what their history is. You know, the things that we choose to selectively remember. So it's a projective canvas of possibility. One of the key questions, of course, is even as simple as like, what is this area to you? Is it Peckham Rye or None? Is it Peckham Rye or Nunhead? So it's not that people couldn't even agree about their memories of the space. Like the huge arguments that people had whether it was Peckham Rye or Nunhead became this, like, you know, hilarious way of speaking about actual, you know, really rigid positions of difference, but just as pub banter. So this is where, you know, the kind of harmony started to break down.
The Newland.
No, it isn't. I said, no. It's a good 20
Our address
minute
was
walk.
the Newland.
But this is Peckham, right, and it's not East Dulwich. No, it's a 484 bus route. I said, no, it's a good 20-minute walk.
For me, I have to have a formal challenge. So it has to, for me, it has to work politically, emotionally. You know, I have to feel really compelled and feel that my compulsion is speaking to the world in a way that is meaningful. But I have to feel it. I have to feel it in my stomach, and I use my stomach as, you know, the test of whether or not I'm carried by it, if you see what I mean.